Hello everyone, this is Oldbackpac from the Gankbush squad, and I'm now commentating on a rather special game that we had versus Squadron. So you see on the left, there is Average Adams, Horsepants, PallyTime, Kaiberries, and Cyber Die for Team Squadron. And the right, we have us and the Windtimers of Fringe Average, Seal, Tower Baron, Sundance Kid, and myself, Oldbackpac on D.Va. So it's a rare time I'm actually going to cast one of my own games. But it was a very, very fun game. We just rolled Twitch match, and we happen to have a similar MMR to them. And hey, it was a really good game. You're going to see how it goes. So when you first see it, you should think about what is the team comp and what's your goal. So usually I do how to tank, so we're spending most of the time watching me as D.Va and how to tank. So when you see these team fights, you need to realize how you plan to win. On the opposing team, they have a lot of sustained damage, be it Cassia, Malthael, Arthas, Radar, and Murden, and the Windtimers is more of a burst comp with the Vala, Uther, Zeratul, and D.Va. And from my stance in this game, I see it as D.Va, my job is to do two things. One is reduce damage, and the other is to isolate targets with the bump. Well, to punish targets who come out of position. And you'll notice that the enemy team, almost all the damage is in melee range. Cassie is semi-melee, Malthael is certainly melee, Arthas is melee, so is Radar. And you're going to see D.Va get a lot of value in these team fights, just because once the defense matrix is up, it prevents a lot of the damage. So that's really my goal, is to burst the target down, and as we burst the target down, to prevent other damage that's occurring. And you can see the team top, there's a 4-4 up top, which you expect to have. Right there, the enemy team dives, the defense matrix comes out, and almost all the damage is prevented. You see how our team is almost entirely full health besides me. So that's how I plan to help these team fights, is to be the front line and preventing most of their damage. On this map in particular, D.Va is very powerful, just because her ability to burn down chests, though it is a bit of a roam map, so she's slow, but that can kind of be mitigated with good early positioning. Here we see the Radar diving too deep, and we're going for the immediate kill. And once we go for the kill, you see that the matrix comes down and prevents the counter kill. One thing to notice about D.Va is that when I learned to play her, is that people tend to let their mechs die as if it doesn't matter. That's the wrong way to play D.Va, because when she dies, it's still EXP for the opposing team. Like, yes, you're still on the map, it's not really that punishing, but you're giving your enemy team EXP. It's almost never worth it. And so if you're down to low health, don't kill the mech and then go into pilot form and try to shoot your way back into the mech. It's usually the wrong play. Just take your time, go back to well, get healed, and then fight at full health. You'll see on the bottom there's the Dehaka and the Murden, two very, very, very sustainable tanks. And so nothing's ever really happened there. Those two are just going to be in the lane and kind of just trade. Ideally, the Dehaka should outlane the Murden, forcing our rotation down, because Dehaka's wave clear is so much better than Murden. But I don't think that's going to happen, just because the Dehaka Fringe is not as aggressive in lane. Here we see the Malthael going too deep into our team, and the three of us all collapse on him, maybe getting a punishment kill. Right there, the enemy team engages, the matrix comes down, and we miss our initiate. In terms of talents, you'll notice on the D.Va, the talent that I chosen was pro moves. Typically, you wanted to go to hit the nitrous. However, you look at the enemy's team's damage, they have people like Radar with Lightning Shield, Arthas' Aura, Malthael's Tits. All of them do consistent, slow, ticking damage. Once again, so for the team fight, I saw the CC on Vala immediately comes down the defense matrix, protecting her, and she's able to walk out. We even get the counter kill on the Malthael. It's important to notice that Malthael is very, very good in the, once again, enemy team dives, matrix comes down, damage prevented. They're full health, but we are able to walk away. But yeah, Malthael is very powerful late game and fairly weak early game. You can actually pick him off pretty easy. He doesn't get a lot of his very powerful talents. Okay, and here we see a little bit of the tank-on-tank action where no one's ever going to die. Dehaka can't kill Murden, Murden can't kill Dehaka. Those two are just going to be laning peacefully for a large portion of this game. The Zeratul, however, if he was so inclined, he could rotate down. Here comes the tank pop, just because I didn't want to die. And now we get picked on the Horse Pants, who's actually a master player. One thing to mention about this game, the opposing team of the Squadron is much higher MMR than we are. Horse Pants is a master player, PallyTime is diamond, and I believe Kyberries and Average Adams are both platinum. And well, most of our team is composed of me, who is high plat, low diamond, Tower Baron, who is notoriously known as a bronze type player, and Fringe is a silver. So we are at an MMR disadvantage here, and that'll kind of show itself as the game progresses. Anyways, we should have a camper, but our team doesn't really have a camper outside of Dehaka, and so we can't really gather our bruisers or any other camps very effectively. Here we get jumped on, and their 4-man beats our 3-man, and we're probably gonna die for it. The Zeratul rotated down to kill a Murden or get the coins, and so we shouldn't have fought that. We should have just backed up. That's our bad. So now that we are kind of down, we can't very aggressively push for these coin camps, so we kind of just back up and play safe. You'll notice that as D.Va, if you don't have, I'll say this, with D.Va, that little red bar underneath her health indicates the amount of charge before she can get back into her mech again. You'll notice since that bar is not full, the D.Va is played very passively. I mean, very passively. They can instantly kill baby D.Va really easily. There's PallyTime being aggressive on D.Va. It's kind of a waste for him because I'm not going to die here unless I make a mistake. Once again, the Matrix comes down, damage is prevented. We're rather okay. And here's where I made a misplay. The goal was to dash the mech forward, jump out, and then send it to separate the enemy team. However, I accidentally pressed the Q too slow to cancel the charge, and I ended up, well, killing myself. Kind of funny. One thing to note, though, is that when you're D.Va and you pop, when you press Q to dash, you can also then jump out. What people don't really realize is that you can also press Q again to stop the mech from charging. So you can actually kind of place the mech easily. So you Q, dash, then you, oh, nice gank on Tower Baron maybe. Yeah, he's overextended. And that's how D.Va punishes overextending. She gets behind you, then she's body blocks. But yeah, if you press Q and then eject out of it, you can then press Q. You eject to explode it, then you press Q again to stop the mech in its place. It's how you position the mech explosion very accurately. Okay, with us in the turn in, now we're fighting for 10. And with this happening, the turn has already happened. We can't get any more objectives. Just time to take camps. As D.Va, go back to getting sight. Zeratul's getting camps, and we're all kind of just playing the map right now. We should be a bit more aggressive with the 10 advantage, but they're at 10 in seconds. I'm not sure why Dehaka is so passive right here. The enemy team is showing on the minimap. He knows he can outlane this Murden. Anyways, that's a min-maxing thing. When you see the enemy team as Dehaka, you're allowed to push forward and get lane pressure where you can. Here comes the opposing enemy team trying to gank the D.Va. You can see here for level 10, I learned Bunny Hop, and that's for one exact reason. The enemy team has very strong CC, and if I'm able to break that CC, say with an ultimate, I'm able to, well, survive. And that's what happened there. They tried to come and gank me, I popped the ultimate, and I was able to actually turn their attack into a, well, counter attack. Horse Pants overextends, the D.Va gets caught in the Valkyrie, so it's a 2-for-1 trade. That was D.Va's fault, or my fault, for not actually backing up, playing more passive. I wanted the kill on Horse Pants, I got it, then I ended up staying too long, got Valkyried in. With most of our DPS elsewhere, Uther has no chance of defending this. He's kind of just there for the EXP. It's the right play. If the Vol rotates up, he can defend this much more easily. I should say that with the opposing team, our main damage dealer is Vala, who's auto attack, and that's we also have a Zeratul who's also all attack based damage. It makes the Cassia really hard for our team to kill. And so notice in these team fights, we don't focus the Cassia very much, just because focusing Cassia is usually a bad place for us. Here comes Zeratul on top of the Horse Pants. Once again, here comes the pop, separating the enemy team. Horse Pants is forced to go into deeper to our team, and the other team has to back up, thus giving us the kill. That is the ideal way to pop a mech, is to go in between the front line and the back line and pop it. Force the front line into your team, force the back line away from the team fight, and then get the isolation kills. That's the goal of almost every single explosion. Here's a 3-man, once again, putting down... Oh, here comes the Bunny Hop, slowing down the team, which should allow for the follow-up Divine Storm on the Uther. Well done. And that's kind of our team's combo, is Bunny Hop into Divine Storm. Once again, the Horse Pants came down and made a bit of a mistake. So now the enemy team is starting to stagger the deaths, but since we have Uther and his mana is rather low, we don't have the sustain to maintain this fight. Even though we were winning that, we're ahead on levels, and we have a talent advantage. We didn't have any sort of life or mana to refill our heroes. So despite quote unquote winning that fight, we still lost the turn just because they have more sustain than we do with the Rhaegar versus the Uther at low mana. Okay, with the turn in done, now it's time to get camps. Hopefully someone joins me there. They might not, but it's still the right thing to do. Like I said before, D.Va is really slow to rotate the map, so you really need to be early to these locations. So, being slow, I immediately walked down to the camp, and D.Va clears camps okay. Like, she just auto-attacks them, so there's no real way of clearing them effectively. But it's still, like, you're helping the Uther out. Uther's bad at it. Zeratul's getting more sight, which he should be doing. Our goal now should be get map pressure elsewhere, which is what the Bruisers will accomplish, thus giving us a distraction to allow us to turn in. If they want to fight us here, here we see 3 of them fought out. We can actually initiate the fight. Now it's a 4v5. Once again, Bunny Hop into the Divine Storm, into the Explosion, thus separating the team out. You can see now the Horse Pants is isolated. We could have had a kill on that. Once again, Defense Matrix on the enemy team. And unfortunately, the backline dies when I am on top of their backline. Now comes the string of kills. It's important to notice that was a 4-on-4 because the Dehaka came late and so did the Arthas. We just got outplayed. The Malthael is starting to hit his power talents. Most important would be at 13, where he gets the armor, thus nullifying a majority of our damage. Val's damage is half auto attack. Zeratul's mostly auto attack. And so killing the Malthael now is getting a lot harder. One thing to do here is the Dehaka. When you see these siege champs, you can see they stand outside of tower range. A good thing to do is to ton the siege champ and actually walk it into tower range. It helps to clear, and it just, well, makes it go by faster. Yeah. However, that Bruiser champ top had a lot of value. Now we can turn it in, at least try to turn it in again. Dehaka should be able to burrow in here. We can kind of force this. We can force this team fight because Malthael's shown top.
Our fort was destroyed.
So right here, it's 4v2. Should be an easy win for us. I said the Malthael have the anchor of their team is not here. This should just be a win for us. The VP comes down. It's useful enough. It separates the team in half. And here we go. We're probably gonna win this 5v4. Okay. Fight keeps going. Malthael tries to win a 5v1. He gets us all pretty low. However, not really successful. For the team fight, we secure ourselves turn in. We should then follow up with any more map pressure or just pushing. So our opportunities are now either to push, say, middle lane or just go for boss. I think we all choose boss here. This is kind of a misplay on our part just because the boss is so ineffectual. This is probably the worst boss in the whole game, just because of the way the map is built and how the boss attacks. If you're not familiar by now, when the boss does two things. He has an auto attack, which is a melee, and he also has the slam. It just so happens that when the boss slams on this map, he only slams the wall. He doesn't slam the opposing towers. In all of the maps, the boss slams the wall and towers, thus making it, hit three things at once. But on this map, it doesn't. It hits one thing. It takes a lot of time for it to do. So this boss is not really that great, but it will allow us to get 2 turn-ins in. With boss taken, we can now then get a second turn-in, because we have 15 coins, and want to get rid of these. On the way down, we should grab the coin camps with Dehaka, and with Zeratul. Grab the coin camps, Fringe. Thank you. No reason to stall there. Okay, and you see we're going back to the turn-in. This should give us definitely the bottom fort down. With boss cleared, we're going to turn in and just leave. It's the safe play. We should continue our map dominance.
Seems we've reached an accord. Let's show your enemies.
Fringe starts the camp. It is important to notice that the enemy team showed middle, so we know they're on the way down to the bottom, to the bruisers. So having our 2 assassins get that camp in the Uther nowhere near us is actually really dangerous for Dehaka and I. And like that, we're going to get ganked. Mostly because we didn't send enough people there for it. Yeah, here we go with the team, and we actually go for the isolation on Malthael, and we miss it, which is going to probably be very bad for us. Okay. Once again, I try to set off the bomb in the middle of the enemy team, and that gave us the separation. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to kill. And right now, the Malthael is really just renting up our line. We don't have the damage to kill him. Our auto attack based team just can't kill the Malthael. However, he does overextend behind our walls and be able to shoot him down. And this is the 4v1 tank. You'll notice that once you see the Fend come down on Cassia, it's essentially an immediate W to prevent all that damage. A little bit of D.Va micro is that if D.Va has a damage reducing ability, whether it be armor or the W, if she takes damage, she gains charge equal to the full percentage of that damage. So if you stand there in a full fend, you only take a quarter of the damage to get 100% of the charge. It's the absolute best way to, well, get charge sooner. And that's why you'll notice that, well, you can get just more bombs off. And the bomb is almost all of D.Va's nuance. Okay, with the Malthael dead, we actually are fairly safe to engage here. Once again, we see the radar. This should be a dead radar, and it is. So now we can then push in for the fight. Okay. Once again, the bombs separate the team and guarantees us the kill. With 2 men down, this should be an immediate pressure onto the game. This Malthael should die here. Right now you're seeing how Malthael almost 5v1 does. That's how powerful Malthael is right now, because he just keeps draining off all of us. However, with the level 20 advantage, 2 men down, this should be an immediate push for us in the middle keep. And you're going to see a huge misplay on our part. You'll notice that I am only at a third life, and so I can't tank these towers. But fortunately we have Dehaka. Dehaka is probably the tankiest tank in the game with 3 health bars. He should be able to tank this no problem. However, if we see the Dehaka here, it just gets a bit passive and doesn't actually tank the towers and gives the enemy team time to respond. With the enemy team about to res again, and the Dehaka not wanting to face tank a tower, we're forced to back up and turn in our 9 coins, which is essentially a wasted opportunity. That was probably one of the low points in this game, of where we had this huge advantage and we just didn't do it. Mostly because the side tank and basically communication in general didn't know to be aggressive and really push into the enemy team. Like, we had 20, it was 3v5, it was the best conditions to get a free keep. If that keep falls, then we get pressure in the mid lane for the rest of the game. It's powerful and we missed our opportunity. Dehaka here, however, can't get this champ. It's 2v1 right now, but he can always burrow out. Okay, now that it's 3v5, it's time to back up. No reason to fight this yet. Seal should just back up. Just get our camp and be happy. Actually, that's a misplay. We shouldn't get camp. They have 22 coins. We need to actually guard turn in. And then with the Murden showing top and Cassie behind us, we know that they're coming from behind us. Zerthal got split out. This is a good chance for a VP. Doesn't come down. The VP comes down only on the Malthael. However, our damage is not really high enough to burn down. There we go. We see the radar down. We traded the radar for Zeratul, so not that great. Once again, the assault threat separates the team, but the Malthael now we've lost our ability to kill Malthael, and he was just going to wreck our team. We don't no longer have any damage to kill him. And that's basically a team wipe. If Squadron wasn't having so much fun right now, it would basically be GG. They have keep down. It's 4v1. They could easily win the game here. One saving grace is that Malthael is terrible at sieging. He does percentage-based damage to heroes and minions and units, not to structures. So with Radar dead, their ability to sieges is actually quite weak. You'll notice that pretty quickly here. Malthael actually has to just back up. Enemy team bats up, and Tower Baron just kind of waits for the team to res. You'll notice there that Arthas dies. How he died is still a mystery to us, but I think that'll just MFPallyTime having fun. Once Squadron knows they're trying to win a game, which they kind of have done right now, they can kind of start to have fun. This is a good chance for Zerthal to get a kill here. Malthael's warping out. Well done. That should give us a turn in. You notice that the blue team has 30 coins, and now they just turned them all in, as they should have. We could have rotated faster to stop that. However, with the coins turned in, us having the mana advantage, we should be playing aggressively, and that should be to take the bottom camp. Unfortunately, like I said, we're not really a coordinated team, and we don't. We go for the safe camps, which is a mistake on our part. Being the D.Va, being as slow as I am, I go to walk and clear lanes because we have 2 keeps down. Dehaka's trying to do boss, which I think it's not a bad play. It's just not great because we need to defend our base. And also, as I said before, the boss is the least impactful thing. Pushing may have been a much better idea, but as you saw from before, our team doesn't really want to push that much, just because we have very, very bad disengage, and we don't want to stand there and fight to death. You'll notice that Dehaka is in the bush. He really should be a little bit farther out, giving us better sight. With the boss getting taken, the enemy team goes straight for a core rush, and they might be able to get this. There's only 3 of them there, so maybe it should be their death, but it's still the right play for them. Okay, you see that the Kai Berries is caught out. Once again, the bunny hop combo comes down. There comes the explosion. There comes a little bit of a late VP, and now it's just horse pants versus the team, and this team can't really kill Malthael. The core kills Malthael, but not really us. Okay, so right now this is the opportunity for Fringe Average here to clear these catapults that are killing our base and push away the Cassia, who will kill it. Once again, remember, Dehaka has 3 health bars, at least 2. Okay, and so he really needs to kill this catapult that's killing our base. He really needs to. Now he also needs to kill the average Adam, who's killing our base, and the Dehaka refuses to defend our core. Fortunately for Dehaka, the core defends itself. We're left at a 3% core. With the enemy team almost entirely dead and Arthas showing top, it's a free reign for Dehaka to get these coins and turn them in, give us a turn in. So you'll see now that Arthas has 13 coins, we have 7, and that's a little bit short for the tournament. We need to get the top chest as well, which Fringe can get. Remember, the Dehaka can somewhat 1v1 Arthas. It's a bit of a push. If you have adaptation up, Arthas can't really kill you. That's the other thing I want to talk about a little bit later is knowing who you can 1v1 with, who you can't. And as Dehaka, that's important for laning as well. So Dehaka usually beats Arthas in a lane. Here's a bit of a play mistake on my part as D.Va. As I said, I rotate slowly, and so I need to be with my team before my team gets there. So here I am being slow. Dehaka has the ability to actually burrow into the bush in the upper left there to prevent this. However, he's playing passively, as we kind of know that he does. Playing hop in really aggressively. We get a 5-man VP. And now all the shit breaks loose, and there's no time for the explosion. And so we got kind of lucky on that team fight, and that a hero dies, so that reset the D.Va's explosion. It then gives you essentially a new health bar, allows us to clean up. So right now we actually won that team fight. It was actually pretty good pretty lucky on our part because we start off with kind of a bad initiate. And right there I just used the Dazer zone for the slow. We can get it turned in, but right now we have catapult on our core, a total of 4 of them. And there's a ton of GG just from the cats. So that was kind of a fun game. We held our own. The game was very back and forth. There's some, as you saw, there's some play by me with the explosions to separate teams and kind of isolate the Malthael, which most of our kills came from. And there's also the bunny hop, the divine storm combo, which gave us a lot of kills. Ultimately lost, but it was still a really fun game, and Squadron is a blast to play against. MFPallyTime was having fun the whole time, and it's just a good time. If we get lucky enough to ever play against them again, it'll be great. We can get a rematch. But I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed the commentary on D.Va and how to play. Here's some tips. And thank you for listening. And please, if you like it, please subscribe and leave some comments down below.